Hello, I am Purple Rain, coach of the Damascus Driftblims, and I'm coming here today to start my week 1 match against Cannor. And I've forgotten their name. I'll say it when we start the game. But Cannor is the coach I'm playing against. And so let's just start with my team I've built. So, like a mini draft review, kind of. I think my team was built off the idea, and I mentioned this on the olds review if you want to check that out. But my team starts off with a Gotharita because there are basically no ghosts on this board, and if there's no ghosts on the board, trapping becomes better. And I have trapping and a good fake out and a good Eviolite with Gotharita. So then Blaziken comes to mind because with Blaziken, with a good fake out, Blaziken can afford to have a turn of setting up a Swords Dance or even just getting a big move off and then doing a ton of damage, you know? Blaziken's quite good at that in this format. This is a low tier format, by the way, in case anybody was watching who's not in the VBL. This is then next I wanted to get a good offensive core to go with my fighting type, so I got a ghost type, a good offensive ghost type, and also bonus points for me taking off really the best offensive ghost type on the board in Poltergeist. Poltergeist is so versatile. So it's got Shell Smash if you want to do that. It's got choice. It can run a choice spec set. It can run a life orb set. It can run a citrus berry set and be bulky support, or it can even just be bulky offensive with citrus berry. So tons of item diversity, tons of ability to change up sets week to week. Weak armor is obviously a great move. But if you're running Trick Room or something, or my opponent has an easy multi-hit move like Ice Spinner, or not Ice Spinner, the 3-hit Ice move, you know what I'm talking about, whatever, then it can be that. It's also just a Ghost type, and Ghost types are valuable in draft because it's good in lead because they can't be faked out. Then I've got Dugong. Dugong is a Parish Trapper. It's another Fake Out. It's the only Pokemon that gets Fake Out and Parish Song. So that's interesting. And here it's good because both Fake Out and Parish Song are good for my team, right? I've got 2 Pokemon that appreciate Fake Out, and Blaziken and Poltergeist a lot, and then I've got Gotharita, which really appreciates the Parish Song. And then I've got a third Fake Out, third really good Fake Out Mon in Persian Alola. So the idea there is that it's a bulky, fast. What do I need at this point in the draft? I need something fast. I need a bulky Pokemon, or fast and a bulky dark type. Persian is that. It is a fast, bulky dark type. It is quite good at being a versatile support. So I am running it, and so I have it to switch in to take hits that Gotharita would take, or would not be able to take, super effective hits. Yeah, just really solid for doing that. And I've got Squawkabilly. I think Squawkabilly was insane value at 6 points, personally. Whether it be the Tailwind, whether it be for its Tailwind, it has 3 great abilities. I know it's kind of like a Shitmon and the bird, so it's not ideal, right? Like it's Shitmon stats. But for 6 points on a low tier board, it offers insane versatility in Hustle for just like immediate KO potential, Guts with like a delayed turn KO potential, Intimidate for the awesome ability of just like being able to, Intimidate's good, and this format is so physically offensive, Intimidate is better than it normally is. And then it also gets Parting Shot, which is perfect for a team with Gotharita, with team trapping, and Parish trapping. So yeah, I love the value on Squawkabilly. It's honestly probably my favorite pick on the board. Yeah, It's quite good. And it also offers Tailwind, which my team might use sometimes. I've got Golem, because I thought I need another attacker. I'm running low on points. Let me invest in an attacker that is in Trick Room now, because Blaziken's like fast attacker once it gets a speed boost off. Poltegeist is a mid-speed attacker, and then I have one slow attacker in Golem. And also it can explode next to Poltegeist, which is cool. I've got Go-Goat. Go-Goat is a grass-type Pokemon, which I thought would be nice to have. Because looking at my type chart at that point, I needed ways to resist, I think, electric and grass. And I thought Go-Goat functioned in that role. And it's like not super strong, it's not super bulky, but it's kind of in between. It can do some stuff. It's not like great at anything, but it's good enough that I'm willing to have it on the team, and I think it'll put in work when my opponent has a bad matchup into grass types, or they have something like a fungus, and I need to have a way to counter spores. Then I've got Spoopa for redirection. Spoopa I think is awesome because it is Friend Guard, Rage Powder when I have two Pokemon that like to set up, in Blaziken and Poltegeist. It is awesome for enabling that, and if I don't want to give it Eviolite, I think I can afford to have Sash, because I don't have a lot of Sash Hogs. Like Blaziken wants Sash some weeks, but not every week. Poltegeist never does. The rest of these Pokemon really never do. So that's why I was super comfortable with having Spoopa. Whiscash is also cool for me. It is a Dragon Dance Pokemon. So as you can see now, I've got all the setup. I've got Swords Dance from Blaziken, Nasty Plot. I think Poltegeist gets Nasty Plot. Yeah, Poltegeist gets Nasty Plot. I've got Dragon Dance from Whiscash. It's also just like a decent Pokemon, right? It's like bulky enough. It has it's mid speed, like too slow to be good in Tailwind, too slow to be good without Tailwind, and too fast to be good in Trick Room. But you know, it's like I said, it has Dragon Dance, so it might be able to do something there. And then finally, I've got Bastiodon, who's an Iron Defense Body Press Pokemon. Let me see if I can. I don't know why it is not showing on this. Huh. It's on my screen. Well, just trust me. I've got Bastiodon, and I've got Whiscash and Spoopa. Yeah. So anyways, there we go. I'm able to drag it here. That's the rest of my team. Here we go. I'm figuring it out. That's the important stuff for my team. Yeah. So I like it overall. It has some glaring weaknesses type chart wise, which is something to note, although I'm less worried about it than I would be in any other week or any other season, because luckily for me, this season is very interesting. In that because it's low tier, there are weird spreads of Pokemon. So there's, like I said, not many ghost types, which otherwise might be a problem for my team, because one of my defensive cores, Gothorita, is weak to Ghost, and then one of my offensive cores, like really important Pokemon, and Poltegeist is weak to Ghost. I'd be a little nervous normally, because like I don't really consider Squawkabilly to be super great into Ghosts. So then that means I would only really have one resist, which is good, but it wouldn't be ideal. But because I'm not that worried about Ghost types offensively, I'm okay to have that. Similarly, like having no real fairy resist except for Bastiodon, and Bastiodon's a 5-point Pokemon, it's not going to come that often, would normally scare me, because I would just assume, well, Moonblast into me every week, but now most teams don't have a Moonblast, and those that do have it from a weaker Pokemon, so I'm more okay with it. So stuff like that. Like there's a lot of weaknesses on my team that I'm unconvinced are super problematic. What is potentially problematic for this is of course Covert Cloak. 3 fake outs is really good. It would be better in a different gen where Covert Cloak did not exist. It does, so that's going to be something to worry about, and it's going to be something I have to watch out for every series, every set, every week. I'll have to find the Covert Cloak. Yeah, but anyways, that's my team. And now let's go to my let me show you my team and how I built it for my match with Cannor. So I have a Gotharita. Well, you know what? Let's actually start with showing the matchup. So here we go. This is the matchup. And first thing I noticed in the matchup was, wow, a lot of ice weakness on this team. Weasel's not a real resist. Empoleon is, but it's the only real resist on this team because I don't think Probopass is that likely to come. So, ice weakness galore, no offensive electric type means I don't have to be scared about that because my team, there's some things on my team that don't like it, specifically Dugong often will not like there would be offensive electric types. And another thing I noticed was, yeah, this team is a bunch of bulky Pokemon in the mid-speed tier. And how can I abuse that? I think one of the big answers is Perish Trap, because these are bulky Pokemon. They do have the potential to switch, like I believe Empoleon learns Flip Turn, and Torracat, I believe, learns Parting Shot, but even if it doesn't, it probably gets U-Turn, and even if it doesn't, it can run like Overheat Eject Pack or something. Like, there are ways it can get out. But Perish Trap still seems like a decent mode into bulky Pokemon that want to set up generally. And then that might not be true later down the road. Also, no Ghost types and no Ghost resists except for Dodrio means that Poltegeist looks insane here. The only caveat being that this guy, what's his name? Chestnut gets bulletproof, so Shadow Ball does nothing into Chestnut. And that's a concern. This team has a strong Trick Room E Pokemon in Duosion, but that's it. That's all they have for Trick Room. Their fast mode is faster than mine, because if they can consistently get up Tailwind. If they cannot, then my Blaziken, after a turn, will be faster than anything, could be faster than anything my opponent brings. So yeah, let's look at the team I made to deal with it given all of those circumstances. Oh, and also, much more physically offensive than specially offensive. And that's including the 125 special attack stat from Duosion, right? And Duosion is not, it's not unlikely that it'll come, but it's not super likely it'll come. So, other than that, you really only have Empoleon as a special attacker, so I need to be much more worried about physical attacks than special attacks. So, what did I do? I bulked out my team physically. I just said, you can't hit me specially, I don't think, so let's see you try to beat me physically. I've got Gotharita, super physically bulky. Oh, and also another thing, because of stuff like Empoleon's competitive, and Gliscor's Hypercutter, I feel kind of incentivized not to try to stat lower that much, if I can avoid it. Anyways, yeah, let's look at my team. Eviolite, of course, Gotharita, Protect, Psychic, Trick Room, Fake Out. I'm Terra Flying because my opponent has no ways to hit Flying type super effectively other than maybe an Empoleon Ice Beam. Or a Floatzel Ice Spinner, which is okay into my team, right? But it's not amazing because a lot of these threats are like not real threats. So Terra Flying because I don't think my opponent will have a lot of good ways to deal with it, with no offensive electric type. Then I have Blaziken. I'm going to change the Terra on Blaziken. It was originally a Terra Blast set, but it's not anymore, so it doesn't need to be changed. This is just a Sash. This totally could be not Sash, but with Dodrio being scary, and Gliscor being scary into it, and Duosion being scary into it under Trick Room, I just thought, Focus Sash is consistent, it's going to help. Upper Hand is for Fake Outs and for Aqua Jets from Floatzel, from Empoleon, from where's the Fake Out? Torracat. Just generally good ways to stop that. I think Upper Hand is actually pretty good here. Thank you, Heaven, for putting me onto that. Poltegeist is a choice spec set. It will most of the time just be clicking Shadow Ball. I have Trick because that's good to put it on one of these bulkier Pokemon, with the exception of Empoleon. I really don't want to put it on Empoleon, but otherwise I'm okay clicking Trick into some of the bulky Pokemon on that team. And Terra Blast Ice because my opponent is weak to Ice, and also Terra Blast just generally gives me a way to hit Chestnut neutrally. Persian Alola. I think I'm going to change this set. It was originally Assault Vest. I'm not convinced I needed to deal with any special threats here. And Parting Shot alone might be more valuable, or Thunder Wave alone might be more valuable enough for me to justify not running it. And then changing up the speed to maybe be max speed to try to outspeed Floatzel, or at least speed tie it. So I've got Fake Out, Knock Off, U-Turn, Gunk Shot. The idea with that is Fake Out is always good, Knock Off is always good, because it's a stab move. U-Turn is a good pivot move if I'm in like a Perish Trap mode, and Gunk Shot is to be able to hit Chestnut. Although it should honestly be a special move because it could Iron Defense Body Press. So I'm actually going to change it to a special move if I keep the Assault Vest set. Yeah. And then Assault Vest is just good because Empoleon is a key threat on this team I need to be worried about. And I don't have great ways of offensively dealing with Empoleon, so having some defensive ways of just like living through it is good. Then next, my last Pokemon I have is Golem. Golem is my favorite Pokemon on the team, and it's probably the worst, to be honest. It is Terra Grass, Room Service, like very bulky EVs. It's just EV'd so that the special attack is half of the HP to keep it optimal. It is minus speed nature, 0 IVs in speed, because when you put a -1 on that with Room Service, it underspeeds Duosion by exactly 1 point. Min speed Duosion. So it will underspeed Duosion unless it's running Room Service itself or Iron Ball. So that's why I like it. Room Service is my favorite item in Pokemon. It's so good. And then, yeah, that is the team. I might change Persian off camera really quick. If not, I will see you, well, either way, I'll see you when the match starts. Okay, so we're here. Interesting team. Nothing here. So this makes me interested in my Trick Room quite a lot. I did change the Persian. I forgot to change its... Oh no, I didn't. It changed it to Burning Jealousy. It's still Assault Vest because that's what I wanted. The team is very physically bulky, so I think I'm okay. Fake Out, Trick Room, then like I can work from there with Golem. Golem will be good, so Trick Room looks good in this team, right? I'm gonna go Golem Poltergeist, I think. I'm gonna fake out the Weasel and Trick Room. Yeah, fake out Weasel, Trick Room. I'm not that worried about anything Dodrio will do into Gotharita. So now is a Cloak. No. Swords Dance. Okay. So now I get to knock off. I'll just double. I can U-turn, and it will be slower than both, which means it would go first, though. So I want to... I think I just want to hit the Dodrio. Got rid of its Clear Amulet. Brave Bird does 41, it kills it, and what does... So flip turns, okay. Empoleon. And what comes out? Floatzel. Okay. I think I'm okay knocking off. I'm okay doubling Floatzel. Floatzel's Choice Scarf. I can knock off Empoleon and Psychic Floatzel. Now I just knock off Torracat and Earthquake. Torracat's Eviolite is gone. I'm still gonna knock off, and what do I want to knock off again? I'm more scared of Empoleon, and then I'm just gonna Earthquake. It's fine. Oh, that was... why didn't I Terra? I'm really stupid for not Terraing. Oh, I don't know. I'm just not in it. That was really dumb. I could have just Grass Terra'd. Yeah, I'd probably just lose from here, right? That's fine. And I think I actually win because of weak armor. I can't believe I won that despite the horrible non-Terra. Okay, I gotta take a call. Okay, So unfortunately, I got a call from my doctor, so I had to take a break while recording. Take a break recording, but I continued to play through that because I wanted to make sure we got our set done when I said we would. So I'm now going to run you through a replay of that set, and I'll go pretty slow, and I might pause to explain some of the stuff that happened. Let me first turn with no sound, please. So this lead, the reason I led the way I led was because I still felt the Trick Room mode was good. For reference, at this point, I have Gotharita Persian with Golem and Poltergeist in the back. I believe Trick Room is good into this team, still, these 6. And if I believe Trick Room is good into these 6, then I should have a way of consistently getting a Trick Room. I thought that Gotharita Persian was the best way of doing that. They, this time, lead with their Chestnut. Chestnut's best set is Iron Defense Body Press. It's also quite good into Persian, so I'm thinking about that as we're going through. Torcat I'm less scared of. I have knockoff on Persian, so I know if I get a knockoff onto the Eviolite, this thing becomes a lot less scary, both defensively, which is like, it's a support Pokemon. With the set it's running, I know most of the set, not all of it, so I'm not scared of what it can do once I knock it off. So that's what I'm thinking of this opening turn, and one thing Iron Defense doesn't stop is a Psychic from a special attacker. So I say, okay, let me just knock off the Torcat, neuter that, and then I get Parting Shotted, which obviously makes my special attack lower. Iron Defense makes sense, and then my Psychic goes off and gets a good chunk off on the Chestnut. After that turn, I was just thinking, okay, Persian doesn't have a ton it can do. It knows Knockoff, Fake Out, U-Turn, and Burning Jealousy. Burning Jealousy would be, I guess, to hit the Chestnut, but maybe I should have just Burning Jealousy into the Chestnut, because Chestnut's pretty threatening here. But I don't, and I'm okay with that. Because instead I knock off into the Empoleon, and when I knock off onto the Empoleon, I'm able to get rid of its leftovers. This thing is bulky threat, I don't have a great way of getting rid of it, so I just live with that fact, right? It can be a problem. Then I continue on. Body Press does a big chunk, but because of Fur Coat, it does not KO. Water Pledge, which forces the Water Pledge into it, which means I can get another Psychic off of the Chestnut. At this point, I think I'm on the back foot pretty hard, because what am I doing here, right? Like, I lost a Pokemon. Actually, I'm on the back foot in terms of Pokemon and offensive threat right now, but I have a huge tempo advantage because they do not have a good way, at least I don't imagine Chestnut or Empoleon has a good way of dealing with my Gotharita. So if I can just protect and get into Trick Room. Once I get into Trick Room, I think both of my Pokemon are going first, and I'm doing tons of damage. This Golem is a huge offensive threat in Trick Room. So then, it's just protect. I'm fine making that trade. Water Pledge, of course, goes into Golem, but because I protected, it does nothing. Lets me get the Trick Room off. I get the, what's it called? Whatever off. This time, I don't forget to Terra. Room Service goes off. This time, I don't forget to Terra, so I get to survive if I get hit. Thank God. And I'm just going to throw out some heavy-hitting moves. I throw it a high horsepower because I don't want to damage my Gotharita next to me with an Earthquake, and it doesn't help hitting the Chestnut that much. Water Pledge does not a ton, and Body Press does not KO. So now I'm in this position where, okay, I want to Rock Slide, of course, because it'll do a bunch of damage. And do I risk Psychicking into the Empoleon because Chestnut could protect here? I know it has Protect, although it did just protect. No, it did not protect last turn. So I know it could protect. So do I feel comfortable doubling up into this, or do I feel comfortable doubling up into Empoleon or not? I decide not to because I think that is too risky. Rock Slide could get a flinch, but I'm not willing to risk it. I want this Chestnut dead before it has a chance to kill my Empoleon, and I think, or my Golem. And I think if I get the Rock Slide chunk off onto Empoleon, I'm in a good enough position anyways that even if it KOs it back, and the Rock Slide didn't KO the Empoleon, I'll be fine. So I decide to double up into the Chestnut, which is perfect here. It does result in the KO. And now I think I'm in a really good position, right? I'm the first to go. I'm the first to go with both my Pokemon here. It's threatening super effective hits into both. There's not a good switching here to a Rock Slide, so I'm feeling great. Only problem is the Intimidate comes off, which then lowers my Golem's attack. But I still am threatening Psychics with Gothorita. This is one of those situations where I'm thinking, well, I really wish I could have fit Helping Hand onto my Gothorita over, I don't know, something like my Protect, or more likely something like my Psychic, Protect, Trick Room, and it's telling that I don't even remember the move. I'll probably use it at some point. Fake Out. Perhaps I wouldn't have needed Fake Out. Yep. Oh, and the reason I Protect here is because I know this is gonna fake out the Golem, because if it doesn't fake out the Golem, I get a super effective hit onto both. So I'm forced to Protect here. And then I have Gothorita, which can just throw out a Psychic, because I believe it's going to try to kill the Golem, because if it doesn't try to kill the Golem, then what's it doing? I see now that my Psychic does nothing into this Empoleon, despite it being Terrid, so it's not very effective. It's just Gothorita has no special attack, and Empoleon's very bulky. I did predict correctly that they would attack my Golem. I can just Rock Slide here pretty freely, get some chip off into the Torracat, while knowing that that probably means that my Golem's going down, but my Golem doesn't go down. Instead, they taunt my Poltegeist. I'm perfectly happy with that. The reason I switched my Poltegeist in was because I know Empoleon's protecting. I think both are protecting, but I guess... maybe I knew that the Torracat couldn't protect at this point, or doesn't have protect. But either way, I know Empoleon's protecting, and I'm guessing the Torracat's protecting too, but it might not. I could try to get Psychic Chip off of the Torracat if I really know that it's not protecting, but I don't feel comfortable making that trade given the potential downside. So instead, I Shadow Ball, I get my Poltegeist out to threaten, once we're out of Trick Room, heavier damage. Because if my Gothorita's out, we just saw how much the Psychic is doing, it does nothing. So might as well get something that actually puts some offensive pressure on board. Now I know my Golem's basically dead, but it's still an offensive threat, so it demands an attack. Which means my Poltegeist is going to get to hit into the Empoleon. There we go, it dies. Golem dies as expected, but I get a huge chunk off into this Empoleon. But I am choice locked into Shadow Ball against a Dodrio. So if it comes down to a 1v1, I know I lose. I have to keep that in mind too. So now I'm in this position. Also, the other thing that getting my Gothorita out is it reset its special attack from the parting shot that happened on turn 1. So I now have a full special attack Gothorita again. I have to attack my Poltegeist into Empoleon, knowing that it can and probably will protect, but it's choice locked, so I have to do it. Dodrio's never switching out. There's no point in attacking it. Might as well throw the Shadow Ball onto Empoleon to stop it from being able to attack freely. And this way I can also get the fake off into Dodrio, get some chip off, and I know it's not covert cloaked because of last game when I knocked it off, it was clear amulet. So now the taunt's ended, who cares? The Empoleon fails a double protect. I, of course, am throwing a Shadow Ball into it. Now I get the boost of speed because of weak armor, which means that next turn I know I'm going to be faster than Dodrio. So this will go off first. And I know from here, assuming this doesn't have, that Torracat doesn't have Protect, I can Shadow Ball into Torracat and Psychic into Dodrio. And even if it does have Protect, I Shadow Ball into Torracat, Dodrio kills the Poltegeist, Psychic into Dodrio, I get rid of the Dodrio, and I'm pretty sure 1 or 2 Psychics takes out Torracat, and 1 or 2 Flare Blitzes, which I do know the 4th move is Flare Blitz, so I know it doesn't have Protect. Will not kill my Gothorita, and I will win. Unless, assuming no like huge crits or something. And from that point, I know I've won. Psychic kills Dodrio. That is... Oh, Trick Room. I Trick Room and then Psychic. I don't know why I Trick Roomed. It was unimportant. That was game. And so that was my first match this week. I think my team did about what I would want it to do. I'm quite happy with it. I think I showed the power of Poltegeist here, and the speed mix-ups I can offer with teams having to be very cautious of my fast mode with Blaziken. They have to understand that I cannot care about speed at all with Perish Trap, and then they have to also understand that I can be really slow with Golem. And all that time offering mixed damage. Because Poltegeist is in the middle and it's special, and then my fastest and slowest attackers are both physical. So I was quite happy with that win. I think I played pretty poorly game 1 with the lack of Terra onto Golem for some reason, but it is what it is. Life goes on. Thank you for watching.